execute, and dominate. Suck it up. Get tough. Suck it up. Get tough. People want to have success. People want to make a lot of money, but they want it to be easy without any challenges. Do you think it was easy for me to become one of the top 450 basketball players in the world that you never heard of? The only way I made it to the NBA is I was fundamentally sound, I was mentally tough, and I never quit. And even when I wanted to quit, I had people in my life that would make sure I didn't quit. I hired and sought out the top 10 motivational speakers, watched all their videos, and I watched them one by one because I understand that if I pay attention to what the best are doing, I could be the best too. I watched game film on Michael Jordan. No matter how much I watched, I couldn't do what Michael Jordan could do. I would watch Magic Johnson. I couldn't do what Magic Johnson would do, but I sat there and had these videos. I watched Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins. My wife was scared. I was scared. I called into my office and I said what husbands say. I said, babe, we're gonna be okay. Every month the checking account is dwindling. I said, babe, we're gonna be okay. Let's start a motivational speaking business. I go to Jerry Sloan and I say, Jerry, I'm trying to make your team, but since we don't scrimmage, I feel like I can't show you what I can do. Go to the corral, hear me clearly, listen to his answer, and it will unlock some mysteries as to how you become the best in the world at what you do over a long period of time. Jerry, I'm trying to make your team, but I feel like I can't show you what I can do. He says, Walter, I already know what you can do, but if you want to make my team, I suggest you listen, follow directions, and execute. Listen, follow directions, and execute. What I didn't realize, even though we didn't scrimmage in practice, throughout practice, we did drills, and he created what I call habits and rituals. Every single day, practice was the same. Every single day, we drilled on fundamentals. Every single day, we worked on habits and rituals. So even though my mind was floating, even though I was selfish and self-centered, he was conditioning me into the culture through practice of habits and rituals. The reason why I tripled my NBA income in 3 years is because of habits and rituals. Next year, if your name didn't get called to come across the stage, I'm here to tell you they will call your name next year if you go back home and execute habits and rituals. I wanted to scrimmage for me, but Jerry Sloan was getting me ready to play for the Utah Jazz. So every day it was about habits and rituals. Having hot food is about habits and rituals. Great customer service is about habits and rituals. Being the best in the world at what you do, being a pro, is all about habits and rituals. Let me tell you something. I learned a very valuable lesson when I played for the Utah Jazz. I had a point guard on my team who's arguably the best point guard in the history of the NBA. His name is John Stockton. John Stockton would go to a chiropractor 4 times a day on game day. You know what I said to myself? I'm not doing that. It doesn't take all that. John Stockton played 19 years in the NBA. I played 3. You would have thought I'd have been smart enough to watch a Hall of Famer and just shut my mouth, hop in the car, and go with them. No! My mind said, yeah, it doesn't take all that. And I would tease him. Man, John Stockton, you OCD or something? Why are you going to a chiropractor 4 times a day? He swore by his chiropractor. That man played point guard in the NBA until he was 40 years old. And he didn't retire because he got slow. He retired because he refused to wear baggy shorts. He loved his Daisy Dukes. Every day on game day, that man would go to a chiropractor 4 times a day. And in my immature basketball mind, I would say, it doesn't take all that. I don't need to do all that. I'm an award-winning motivational speaker because now I pay attention to details. Another peak performance truth. Peak performers are detail-oriented. The reality is this, there are 450 ball players in the NBA every single year. They give out 450 jerseys and there's only 10 superstars. So while the general public focuses on the superstars, professional sports is really made up of guys like me. Every single day I drilled the fundamentals. So when I left sports and got into business, I didn't focus on making money. I focused on fundamentals because I understood I made it to the NBA because I was fundamentally sound. So when I get into business, if I become fundamentally sound in business, and if I become the best in the world in business, I bet you I can make a whole lot of money. I got recruited coast to coast, and that's how I learned how to sell. The doorbell would ring. These coaches would come into my living room. They always traveled in a pack of 3. They always wore university-issued golf shirts. They always had a brochure, and they put the brochure on the coffee table. There were always 4 students on the brochure, 2 white, 1 Asian, and 1 African-American every single time. And sometimes they would substitute the Asian for a Latino. And as I collected more brochures, I began to recognize some of the same kids on different schools' brochures. And then I realized, you know what? Oh my God, these are students, these are models, and this is big business. Your industry is big business. And whenever you have big business, it's very competitive. But in basketball, if you win by 1, you still win. If you win by 1, you still win. So when you want to compete at a high level in a very competitive business, you better pay attention to every little detail. Sometimes in franchise systems, when the leader talks about what we need to do, some of you sit there and say, oh, we don't need to do that. I'm not doing that. It doesn't take all that. Some of you guys right now in the open keynote had that thought going to your mind. Oh, I'm not doing that. I don't need new plates. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. You already made up your mind not to do it. Great people pay attention to detail. So at this conference, don't you dare let your mind say, oh, I'm not doing that. It doesn't take all that. I'm not doing that. It doesn't take all that. You'll be average the rest of your life. Great people pay attention to every single little detail. Peak performers understand that detail matter. Peak performers understand that that's how you kick the competition's butt. Detail. When you win by 1, sometimes the smallest little detail matters. I used to think that way. It doesn't take all that. But you know what? In my basketball career, I played 3 years, and I should have had a longer career because I did not pay attention to detail. Peak performers understand that detail matter. Peak performers understand that that's how you kick the competition's butt. The first day of high school, I walked in full of confidence. I believe confidence is arrogance under control. I walked in my first day of high school full of confidence until I passed the principal's office. And he was 6'6", 240 pounds. Everybody else called him Mr. Bond, but I called him Dad. That first day of school was the longest day of my life. I attended high school in Chicago's inner city where my father was a principal of my high school. I got to the lunchroom and I ate lunch all by myself. I could hear my classmates whisper, that's the principal's son, that's the principal's son. Where? Right there. I couldn't wait to get home. I made up my mind, when I get home, I'm gonna throw a pity party. Go ahead and cry, feel sorry for yourself. Be angry, be frustrated, but I only give you 3 days. I went home that first day of school and I threw me a 3-day pity party. You guys don't know me, but I know how to party. Peak performers always think positively. So go ahead and throw your pity party for 3 days, and that's it. Every other thought after that 3rd day, make sure it's positive. If you see you or feel yourself thinking negatively, stop it right there. And reprogram your mind to think positive. I give you 3 days. Go ahead and do it. I do it myself all the time. But I threw that 3-day pity party and came up with a plan. I'm going back to high school. I'll be starting a baseball team, basketball team, football team, president of my journalism club. My classmates are going to vote me most likely to succeed. I never made the Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan money. I was terrified of becoming that athlete who went broke. And for months, I saw my checking account dwindle every single month. College educated, college degree, but every month my checking account was dwindling. I had no other skill sets. I had sold out to the sport in which you have to do. To play pro basketball, you gotta sell out. So here I am, 31 years old, wife with 3 kids, mortgage clicking every single month, and I was scared.
When I was an immature basketball player, I didn't get that concept. I had another teammate named Karl Malone, who arguably had the best body in the history of the NBA.